Say the last few days found out where I was headed, and they texted me, or they told me that night on a call, get ready, you're leaving on Wednesday. So I packed up my room.
Did Lexie Hull of the Indiana Fever just call out her own coach? Did Stephanie White, the head coach who was supposed to revive Indiana's WNBA franchise, actually end up ruining one of her players' careers? And how does Caitlin Clark, the superstar rookie who changed everything for Indiana, feel about all this? Because this story isn't just about basketball. It's about power, favoritism, silence, and how one of the most hard-working players in the WNBA may have just been pushed out of her own team. Today, we uncover what really happened to Lexie Hull and why she's finally speaking out. Lexie Hull wasn't supposed to fail. At Stanford University, she was everything you wanted in a player: smart, disciplined, defensive-minded, and always ready to sacrifice for the team. She won a national championship. She graduated with honors. And in 2022, she was drafted 6th overall by the Indiana Fever, a franchise desperate for stability after years of disappointment. Analysts called her the new face of the Fever rebuild. She was young, versatile, and coachable, but that's not how it turned out. Because in less than 3 years, Lexie went from top 10 draft pick to bench warmer, and then to almost invisible. When Stephanie White took over as head coach, the Indiana Fever were supposed to turn a new page. White, a former player and respected coach, promised to bring structure, defense, and player accountability. But as soon as she arrived, the dynamics began to shift. Caitlin Clark's arrival brought global attention, millions of new fans, and a tidal wave of pressure. Suddenly, every minute, every substitution, every rotation mattered. And in the middle of that chaos, Lexie Hull began to disappear. Her minutes dropped. Her role was re-evaluated. And soon, her name wasn't even in the rotation notes anymore. Players noticed. Reporters asked questions. But the answers were always the same: we're focusing on development. Lexie's role is evolving. Behind closed doors, though, the story was different. According to multiple insiders, the tension between Lexie Hull and Stephanie White started early in training camp. Lexie had always been known for her defense. She was the kind of player who dove for loose balls and shut down scorers. But White reportedly told her to focus less on defense and more on spacing and shooting. The problem? That wasn't Lexie's game. She'd been recruited for grit, energy, and consistency, not flash or volume scoring. When she tried to adapt, she struggled. Her shooting percentage dipped. Her confidence faltered. And that's when, according to team sources, Stephanie White began to lose patience. She benched Hull in favor of younger and proven talent, players who fit the system she wanted, not the roster she inherited. For Lexie Hull, that was the beginning of the end. Then came Caitlin Clark, the college superstar who turned the WNBA upside down overnight. Her arrival didn't just change the Fever. It transformed them into the league's most-watched team. Suddenly, every player had to fit around Clark's playstyle. Every role was recalibrated. Lexie Hull's defensive-first identity didn't fit that new mold. The team wanted shooters to space the floor for Clark's drives and passes. White wanted to run fast-paced, high-octane offense. And Lexie, despite her hustle, was often left out of the plan. One insider described it this way: when Caitlin came, it wasn't personal, but Lexie became the odd one out. The rotation had to change, and she got caught in the shuffle. Even Clark herself reportedly noticed it. During one post-game interview, when asked about the team's depth, Clark mentioned Lexie by name, saying she always brings effort in practice and is one of the smartest players we have. But effort doesn't always beat politics. By mid-season, Hull's minutes had nearly vanished. From 25 minutes per game her rookie year, to under 5. In one crucial stretch, she didn't play for 7 games in a row. When a reporter finally asked Coach White about it, her response was curt: "We're going with the players who give us the best chance to win right now." That was the quote that broke Lexie Hull's silence. Just days later, Lexie posted a cryptic message on Instagram. Sometimes silence is survival, but silence also tells stories that people ignore. Fans flooded the comments, asking if she was talking about the team. She didn't reply. But those who knew her said, yes, she was. Shortly after, she stopped appearing in public team events. Her locker was cleared, and rumors began to spread. Lexie Hull was done with Indiana. Then came the moment that sent shockwaves across the WNBA. In a private podcast appearance, later leaked online, Lexie Hull reportedly said the words that would define her career. "Stephanie White ruined my career. I worked every day, I gave everything, and she took my confidence away." The clip spread like wildfire. Fans were stunned. Reporters scrambled for confirmation. Within hours, the Indiana Fever issued a statement denying internal conflict and praising White's leadership. But the damage was already done. Lexie's truth was out, and it resonated with players across the league. Many WNBA veterans privately admitted they'd experienced similar treatment under controlling coaches. Others publicly supported Hull. Even former players from other teams tweeted things like, "Speak your truth, Lexie. They'll love you when you're silent, but call you difficult when you talk." It became a symbol of players feeling voiceless in a league that preaches empowerment. So where did Caitlin Clark stand in all this? Insiders say she was shocked. She had respected Lexie from day one: the work ethic, the quiet leadership, the team-first mentality. When asked directly about the situation, Caitlin refused to throw anyone under the bus. But her tone said everything. "Lexie's one of the hardest workers I've ever played with," she said. "Sometimes the system doesn't fit everyone, but that doesn't mean they don't belong." That was as close as Clark would come to defending her teammate publicly. Behind the scenes, however, teammates described her as frustrated, not just for Lexie, but for the culture forming around the team. Caitlin Clark had entered the WNBA hoping to elevate everyone around her. Instead, she found herself in the middle of a growing divide between management and players. Lexie Hull's story isn't just one player's heartbreak. It's a reflection of a system that still struggles to balance development with winning, loyalty with results, and coaching authority with player empowerment. The WNBA is growing faster than ever. Bigger crowds, more media, new fans, but it's also revealing deeper cracks within its own walls. For years, players like Lexie Hull were told that hard work and defense would earn them a spot. But in today's star-driven league, sometimes that's not enough. The players who shine under the spotlight stay. Those who don't fade away quietly. Lexie Hull refused to fade quietly. And in doing so, she forced everyone to ask, what really happens behind the WNBA curtain? As of now, Lexie Hull's future remains uncertain. Rumors suggest she's exploring overseas opportunities, possibly in Spain or Australia, where she can rebuild her confidence and her career. Others say she's considering a transition into coaching, determined to be the kind of mentor I never had. One thing is clear: Lexie Hull's story isn't over. If anything, this may be her rebirth. Because sometimes being pushed out of a system doesn't end your career, it frees it. Lexie Hull's journey is a reminder that every team has stories the cameras don't show. Every smile hides struggle. Every benching hides betrayal. And sometimes, the loudest sound in the arena is the silence of a player who deserved better. Stephanie White may have her version of the truth, but Lexie Hull just gave the world hers. What do you think? Did Stephanie White really ruin Lexie Hull's career, or was this just the brutal reality of professional sports? And where does Caitlin Clark fit into all of this? Can she fix what's broken inside the Indiana Fever? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest WNBA stories. Because this is just beginning.